What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the newest episode of Over the Octagon podcast. We're a week out from UFC 309 between Jon Jones and Stipe Miocic, live from Madison Square Garden. The Over the Octagon boys are going to be in attendance for this event. We are beyond excited. Can't wait to see Jon Jones live in person. This week, we're going to be breaking down the entire fight card of UFC 309, giving our thoughts on all the different matchups. Looking at the card, it isn't great. I'm not, so sure it's going to be one of the best cards of the year, but there are some still really good fights on this. We're going to talk about it, and of course, it is Jon Jones. So how mad can he really be, right? It's going to be a great fight. If you're not already, don't forget, subscribe to the channel. Hit the thumbs up, like the video. If you're listening to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon Music, make sure you turn on automatic downloads. Never miss another episode. Rate the show 5 stars. Click the link in the description. Send us a text message. Let us know your thoughts on UFC 309. Peace. See you on the next one.
This is Over the Octagon. Welcome to the shit show.
Let's fucking go, baby.
I don't think I'll ever get not used to that. It's so good.
Yeah, loving the new intro. 2 episodes into a new intro, and after this event, UFC 309, we're gonna have some more content that's gonna be added to it. It's gonna be fucking tastic.
That's because the boys will be there.
Boys will be there. We're pumped. We got some things to get out of the way first. I'm going to say it like that and regret it and hope my fiance never listens to it. Next weekend, I'm getting married November 9th.
Woo!
First and foremost.
Let's go.
Dad of the year.
And November 9th is my wedding. So by the time this video comes out, I'll be a taken man, ladies. I'm sorry.
Hey.
Off the market. The market.
What about the dudes? Can we still holler at you?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. I'd pop out.
And then the following week, November 16th, this Saturday, would be UFC 309 between Jon Jones, Stipe Miocic, co-main event, Charles Oliveira, Michael Chandler, Viviana Araujo, and Karine Silva, Bo Nickel, Paul Craig, Chris Weidman, Eric Anders, just to round out your main card. Some ranked fights on the prelims, even at light heavyweight, at bantamweight. Jim Miller is fighting on the prelims. Jim Miller's allergic to bad fights, so I'm sure that's going to be incredible.
And he's fighting Damon Jackson, too, who's also old.
Allergic to bad fights, yeah. A couple old guys banging it out, dude. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. But so anyway, let's get into UFC 309. We'll start at the top. Start at the main card. Jon Jones, Stipe.
This is wild, man. This is wild. No one's talking about Stipe enough, but would they? I mean, do we even need to? It's Jon fucking Jones, guys. Yeah. It's monumental.
Yeah. Do we even give what realistically? What chance do you think Stipe has to win this fight?
Man, I mean, Stipe is good. He is probably the best heavyweight champion of all time, right? The thing is, there's been a lag in fights since he's retired, right? Isn't he?
I mean, he's pretty much retired. Yeah.
Technically, yeah.
It's just, I mean, dude, he's used to fighting people at a bigger weight. I think that's his only advantage. Jon Jones doesn't have as much experience as him in that department. But it's Jon Jones, dude. Who gives a fuck? He's a freak of nature, man.
That's it. It's Jon Jones, dude. That's all you can really say.
Yeah, Stipe hasn't fought in 3.5 years. His last fight was a knockout loss to Francis Ngannou.
Stipe has arthritis now.
Well, he definitely has I almost said PTSD. He definitely has
CTE.
CTE. Yeah, 100%. By the way he talks.
Yeah, I mean, I give him a lot of credit for taking this fight. I mean, it's a legacy fight for both of these guys, really. Like a win over Stipe for John at heavyweight is big, right?
You think he did it for the money?
Do I think Stipe did it for the money?
Yeah. I mean, dude, being a local firefighter probably doesn't pay a lot.
I don't think he needs the money. I don't think it's for the money. I think he's doing it because he gets to get in the octagon and fight John Jones. I think that's what turns these guys on, dude. I think that's what gets them up in the morning.
Just like if they called someone to fight McGregor or something off the couch, like who's going to say no?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think having the opportunity to get in there and go against John Jones is legendary. You know what I mean?
It is.
And same thing for John. Like if John, people call Stipe the greatest heavyweight of all time. It's like if John beats him, defends a heavyweight belt, he just cements his legacy as the GOAT.
Yeah.
Obviously there's, a lot of haters and discrepancies out there. People like to discredit him because of, some of his past actions and stuff like that. But, his PED use wouldn't even be a factor in today's UFC because of the pictograms and all that. He fails for cocaine. I would argue that makes his wins even that much more impressive.
Mm-hmm. Like he was out partying.
Right.
And winning,
right, and dominating and killing people. So I just think for both of these guys, it's a legacy fight. Do you think what's the realistic chance do you think happens at the end of this fight as far as both guys retiring?
I think it's probably not 85 or 90%.
I think it's kind of stupid if they both do it, but it could happen. Did Stipe not already officially have his retirement night? Did that happen?
No.
That never happened. Godly, dude. Well, I just don't think that any of these guys deserve to share it with somebody else. They both should have their own night. And if they do this, it's kind of dumb and pointless. But I don't think John Jones deserves to share it with anybody. This is the Michael Jordan of MMA.
I think
I don't disagree with.
If John Jones retires, Stipe gets shafted. That's just the reality. Stipe, there is no tribute video for Stipe. There's no, there's none of that. I almost don't think John's going to retire.
I mean, I hope not. We know what we all want to see, guys. We want to see the Aspinall fight or the Alex fight. It's just, are we going to get that? I mean, it's
the trouble is you can't hold the division hostage for another year, 2 years and not be active and not fight when you have an interim title holder right now. And technically, as soon as a winner of this fight is announced, Tom Aspinall is not an interim champion anymore. So, because there wouldn't be a need for an interim champion. You have an undisputed champion. So, I feel like they have to retire for the good of the UFC's heavyweight division. I've not really gotten the vibe that John is going to lay down gloves and do this whole thing. He said that it's more than likely his last fight.
It's his hometown, dude. It's
it is the picture perfect, right? It would be the perfect opportunity to have that moment.
Yeah, fuck Stipe. They won't give him that moment. Dana won't give him that moment.
No.
No.
So
there's no room for it, honestly.
No, there's not.
There's no time.
No, there's not. It would be all about John Jones for sure. I don't know, man. I have doubts that I think if he goes out there, he wins, and he's all hyped up on adrenaline, and he just beat fucking Stipe, he knocks him out or submits him or does whatever he does and does it in impressive fashion. I have a hard time thinking he's going to be like, all right, that's it, I'm walking away. He's going to feel like, oh, I can keep fucking doing this.
Yeah.
I can keep walking through people.
Yep.
And then my worry and concern with that would be is he's not going to fight again for another year and a half. And we're like this endless conversation that we've had about heavyweight and, champion and Tom Aspinall and Alex Pereira or John Jones, like whatever the case may be, that's just going to go on and on and on until John Jones retires.
Yeah.
As much as I hate
really
to,
funny though,
what
is if they made DC hold the mic for John's retirement.
Dude, we were talking about that last night, man. His lip is gonna be twitching. He's like,
dude, how fun it would be. Joe Rogan, obviously.
It has
it's
to
Rogan.
be Joe Rogan.
It's Rogan.
Yeah. But how funny would that be?
Yeah, it would be awkward for sure.
So
I hate to say it, bro. I hate to say it, but I hope John Jones retires.
I do too. I hope only because one will be there, so like that would be fucking
legendary.
just something I can write in our books of memories like forever.
Yeah,
we were
tell
at
my
the
grandkids
fight.
about that.
Yeah. Like, boys, you don't even know. Greatest fighter of all time. I saw him retire.
Yeah.
I was there for his last fight.
Yeah, but even like beyond that, like aside from that, just the ending of holding heavyweight hostage. Like if like him taking a step back and retiring just opens up so many more possibilities, unless the only way I would be glad he doesn't retire is if he goes out, he beats Stipe, hops on the mic after, and said, I know there's a fucking English guy that's been talking shit. You know what I mean? And then they fucking face off him and Tom Aspinall.
Oh, God.
Damn,
that would be the greatest. That's what everybody wants, dude. That would be the greatest. That's the only way I would not want to see him actually retire, because then it means that we're going to get that fight. But as I see and look and see things now, I'm so skeptical that we're ever going to get that fight. And having him as champion really just holds everything hostage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So as much as I hate to say it, as much as I love John Jones, I mean, it's time, brother. It's Madison Square Garden. It's Stipe Miocic, your heavyweight champ. Retire as a champ, undefeated, never been beaten. The only loss you have is because of a rule that now isn't even a rule.
Yep. And for good reason.
mean, yeah, you're the greatest of all time. Leave it that way. Walk away from the game. Nobody's going to come close to the records he set. I mean,
I think he does it in the first round too. I honestly think it's going to be a first round finish.
Yeah. So that's a good segue. So give me your predictions.
Man, I think it's gonna be. I mean, I don't think it's gonna be sub for some reason. I think it's gonna be like a TKO. They're gonna stop it. He's just gonna be draining the fuck out of Stipe. He's gonna pounce on him. He's gonna drop him and pounce on him, and then that's gonna be it. I see it happening in the first, no matter what. And I just think he's too agile at heavyweight compared to these other heavyweights too, man. Like the only person that's more agile than him at heavyweight is Tom Aspinall, and that's because of the age difference. Besides that, dude, he's gonna swarm him and suffocate him and just beat the shit out of him first round.
Joel, what do you think?
I actually like the opposite. I think he takes it to the ground. And
you think so?
Finishes him on the ground. Yeah.
It's like subs him?
Yeah.
Okay.
I just think there's too many variables to stand up with anyone in the heavyweight division. And I think John knows that.
Yeah.
I think he's one mistake away from being knocked out. I mean, why would you risk that if you know that you're just as good on the ground?
Well, I'm saying ground and pound win.
Yeah, but he has to get him down like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm saying, he's running the risk of getting knocked out himself every moment he stands up with any heavyweight.
Yeah. Well, it always starts on the ground, right? So, or it always starts on the feet. So he's gonna have to stand with him to some degree, and he's gonna have to.
Yeah, but just like Cyril Gahn did when Cyril Gahn threw that right and he just ducked right under it and took him straight to the ground and like. Next thing
so that's kind of how you see the Stipe fight playing out. Yeah. I agree. I kind of agree, and I kind of agree with both you because you're both saying similar things. Do you think he finishes him by TKO dirty, or you think he gets a submission?
I think he finishes him on the ground by TKO.
Yeah, so you're both saying the same thing. Yeah.
No, but you said he knocked him down by standing up and then pounced on him and finished him. I'm saying like he takes him down. I'm saying he takes him down and like ground and pounds him while he's on the ground. Like I feel like he wants to get this now that this new rule's back. I feel like he wants to redeem that. Like he's gonna want to get down there, throw some elbows, get
imagine he gets a TKO win by 12-6 elbows.
Yeah, like John is smart, man. Like he's a smart fighter, so he's not gonna make too many mistakes. And I think he knows that. I mean, Stipe Miocic, granted, he's gotten knocked out before, and he's probably on the last leg of his career.
He's been on the last leg, yeah.
But like he's still
dangerous,
previous dangerous heavyweight champion.
Yeah,
you know?
Absolutely.
Like Cyril Gane was not a previous dangerous heavyweight champion.
He was an interim champion, but there are different levels to that for sure.
So, and Stipe's not like he was an agile heavyweight.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
He was not like a fat guy with a heavy punch. Like Stipe was technical.
Yeah.
So that's why I feel like John is always like learned his competition and learned who he's fighting and always went against the grain.
Yeah, I like the way both you guys see it, and I kind of see it the same way. I think eventually he gets a takedown. Stipe's a good wrestler, though. I think that the takedown against Stipe is going to be significantly more difficult than the takedown against Cyril Gane.
Yeah.
Which I'm hoping
is unmatched now, dude. Like I feel like
I'm hoping that makes for a better fight. I'm hoping it makes for a more competitive fight, but I don't see it. I think it is a first round finish. I also am a little skeptical. And I hate to say this, but I feel like Stipe's motive and like his effort arguably could be in question. Like, if John gets him down and John's beating on him and then John pulls a submission and we see a quick tap, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah,
like almost like just get me out of here type deal.
Like I came, I saw, paid my money, I'm out.
Whatever. Yeah. Let me just go back to my life. It would suck, but I feel like just feel like that's what we're gonna see. I feel like it's just gonna be the UFC glazing John Jones crazy. You know what I mean? But for legitimate reason. But still, I think I like that this fight goes to the ground. John takes it to the ground in whatever way he does. Whether it be by a knockdown or wrestling and a takedown. And he's either going to, I like the TKO. I think that's probably the quickest way. But, if Stipe tries to scramble and John catches a submission during that scramble, that wouldn't surprise me either. John Jones been training with, Jordan Burroughs and Gordon Ryan. And, I mean, there's reason for that.
Yep.
There's a reason that he's training with the greatest wrestlers in the world and the greatest grapplers in the world. If that has any hint on to what his game plan is leading up to this fight, I feel like, there's a good reason he's doing that.
Is there anything that Stipe's been doing? Have you seen any clips of who he's training with? Have you even heard him talk?
Not really.
I heard him talk the other day, and he was like,
pineapples.
Yeah,
so he couldn't really form a sentence.
I'm just glad that I'll hope, because we're not there yet. It's not November 16th yet. But I'm glad we're making it to this fight. I'm glad that it's happening. It's pulling through. It didn't fall out yet. Hopefully it doesn't. Because that's what I was super skeptical of. Like, are we really ever going to see this fight? You know what I mean? But here we are. We're in November. It's UFC 309. It's John Jones, Stipe Miocic. We're fucking here, boys. We made it.
We are here.
We're here.
We fucking made it. Forever,
There's no time.
Dude, if that fight falls out, bro, you shouldn't even open that door.
I know. I didn't think about that until just now. I was like, fuck, Murky.
Because what is the replacement there? There is none.
Alex Pereira or somebody.
Alex coming up.
For the
yeah.
I mean, Tom's going to be there.
I feel like Tom's has to be there.
Well, he's the backup fighter, isn't he?
I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, he's going to have to be there. He'll, Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, but does that even happen? Like, if John Jones falls out, do you do Tom Aspinall versus Stipe? Does Stipe even want to do that?
Stipe's going to be like, dude.
Like, why would Stipe do that? You know what I mean?
Hard.
But if Stipe falls out and then it's Tom Aspinall, John Jones.
Oh, my God. Let's pray for that.
That would be huge, dude.
Let's
pray for that.
Massive. That would be massive. But either way, let's not talk about injury fallout. Hopefully this just goes through the way that it's on schedule now, knock on wood. But, yeah, I think we're all in agreement. John Jones, first-round finish. We'll have to see how it shakes out. Right now, John Jones is a minus 650 favorite, which we talked a little bit before, seems fucking crazy. But, I think for good reason. I think we're all in agreement.
I mean, if there's anybody that should be a crazy heavy favorite, it's John Jones. But
yeah. So your co-main event, UFC 309, this is another incredible fight. This will probably be fight of the night if I had to guess. If I had to guess,
it will be, dude.
I think it's a lock. Honestly, that's just how I feel. Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler. Dude, I mean, Michael Chandler was just waiting for 2 years to fight Conor McGregor. That falls out, never happens. He says, fuck it, I'm tired of waiting for him. They were supposed to fight at the end of July. Conor injures his pinky toe, doesn't fight.
The fuck?
So now you get Charles Oliveira, Michael Chandler. I'm good with this fight, dude. This is exciting. Charles Oliveira coming off a loss to Arman Tsarukyan. You know what I mean? But I think this is a perfect matchup for Charles. He already has beaten Michael Chandler once, second round TKO. So I don't see Michael Chandler getting this win. I don't.
It's a great fight for Charles, I think, man. Chandler is scrappy. He goes hard in the first 2 rounds always. Yeah. But
it's a 5-round fight, isn't it?
Yeah. Charles is so good at winning the scramble and subbing you in the scramble. That's what he does, man. He lives for that. Like, everything moves in slow motion for those moments with him. And I feel like that's how it's going to be. Mike's going to go 1,000 miles per hour, and he's going to get caught in something.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Charles takes it, man. I like. It's going to be an active fight, though. I mean, both these guys are dogs. Both these guys deserve to be on this card. They're going to make this card. So
I think I think it's a clear fight of the night. I do. Early prediction, way too early prediction. But I think
when you have to train for Conor McGregor for 2 years and then you have to switch focus and train for an elite guy like Charles Oliveira, like, not saying Conor's not elite, but like there's a different style there. It's a whole different
big
style.
Time. Big
you know
time.
What I'm saying?
Big time. Yeah.
And then, obviously Chandler, when they first fought, put Charles Oliveira on his ass. And ended up getting fucking beat.
Chandler does that, man. He is scary in the first couple rounds, dude.
So he lost to Chandler. He lost to Gaethje. He knocks out Tony Ferguson, and then he loses to Poirier. And Poirier beat the dog shit out of him.
Yeah.
Right? But that was November of 2022. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, do y'all remember that fight, dude? When he was like bleeding and just like fucking pushed his blood all over him?
Yeah.
Blowing
his bloody nose in his face
like,
on the ground.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Michael Chandler did that, right?
Yeah, to Poirier.
I know. Yeah. What the fuck is wrong with him, dude? Poirier sliced him up.
He did. He really cut him up bad. Not a great fight for Chandler, but, again, an exciting fight, right? Lots of blood, lots of violence, the shit we live for, what we love to see. That's why I think we're going to see a lot of that. But, I think it goes the same way the first fight went. I think it's a TKO by Charles, or like you said, in a scramble, Charles ends up getting a submission, arm triangle, potential real naked choke. But, we'll see. It's going to be exciting nonetheless. And, really, like, if Oliveira can go out and get a win, he did just lose to Tsarukyan. And obviously, Sarukyan's the number one contender to fight Islam Makhachev next. But if Oliveira gets a win over Michael Chandler and then Islam beats Arman, I think Charles finds himself right back in a rematch against Islam.
Yeah.
He dropped the strap to Islam and hadn't fought him since.
Yep.
He didn't get an immediate rematch.
Because he was supposed to, remember, and he got sick.
Yeah, he dropped, right, correct. Yeah. So, which is where the Volk came in.
Yep.
That's, so I don't know, man. I think we need to see Islam fight more lightweights anyway. We've really, we've seen him against an aging Poirier. We've seen him against Oliveira once. Then we've seen him against Volk twice. He needs to fight more lightweights. He's going to fight Arman whenever. They haven't announced that. Arman obviously was suspended for punching a fan. So I'm not sure what's going to really come of that. And they were saying Islam's sick, and so not totally sure, but I think a win for Charles Oliveira at UFC 309 over Michael Chandler, and if Arman Sarukian loses to Islam, I think Charles becomes the clear number one contender for a title shot. And then
I don't hate it.
We get women's flyweight on the main card. Viviana Roja and Karine Silva.
Boo! Just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, hey,
I can have my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it's the 9th and 11th ranked women's flyweight. Karine Silva looked really good in her last fight, right, against De Silva, who we saw fight last night.
Yeah.
But Karine Silva put on a really nice striking clinic her last time out. She looked probably the best she's ever looked. Yeah, so, I mean, and these aren't boring. Here's what I will say about this matchup is neither one of these ladies are boring women fighters.
Thank God.
You know what I mean? So,
yeah, that's true.
Like, I don't hate it. Like, I don't hate this matchup. Like, I think this will be an entertaining striking battle. I really do.
We'll see. Hopefully we don't start the night with a freaking women's fight.
Yeah, so right now, I mean, that's your third fight on the main card. Also, right now, the first fight on the early prelims is Veronica Hardy and Eduarda Mora. So you do have a women's flyweight fight as the first fight of the night on the early prelims.
We could be late.
Yeah. just drink a couple beatboxes, right?
Yeah, we'll start. Yeah, we'll start ourselves
Madison
at
Square Garden. Them things will be like $20.
Yeah, we're gonna get a drink on our way up to the seats there, and
oh man, you gotta start it off the Long Island iced tea just to get fucking bent walking in.
I think we're just gonna overdose on Red Bull all night.
Oh yeah, lots of Red Bull will be drank.
That's it.
Obviously, me, Thomas, his wife, and my wife, all four of us are sober. So Joel's the only one.
Oh no, I'll be sober with y'all, dude.
He's the only one that could possibly
You're not going to
partake.
drink at this?
No, not at all.
No way.
No.
I don't believe you.
I swear.
Right. I just still don't believe you, but
that's fine.
Take your word for it.
Oh yeah.
So
that's awesome.
Middleweight bout after that. The second fight on the main card. This one I'm super excited for too. The odds I feel like are crazy. We mentioned them. Bo Nickel.
Yeah.
Back against Paul fucking Craig, the Bear Jew. Bo Nickel, obviously only 6-0. Super young in his career. 3 fights in the UFC right now. His last fight against Cody Brundage was the only time he's ever been out of the first round. So, I mean, but this is tough. He's going against a guy that's experienced.
Who is a submission artist.
Who is an incredible jiu-jitsu athlete, absolutely. But, who's also on a 2-fight skid.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But, to be fair, those 2 fights that Paul Craig has lost are against Brendan Allen, who's currently ranked 9th, and Kai Baralho, who's currently ranked 6th.
Yeah.
Right? Previously to that, it was Muniz, which he beat. He lost to Johnny Walker. He got KO'd by Johnny Walker.
He got KO'd by him,
which
dude.
Which is really bad.
But do you remember how he got KO'd, though? He caught his leg and then threw a straight right and just dropped him.
Yeah.
I remember that fight, actually.
I mean, and then it's Ozdemir he lost to decision. He beat Krylov
Jamal Hill
by submission. Yeah, he beat Jamal Hill when he was still at light heavyweight. He obviously came down. He KO'd Shogun Rua.
Damn.
You know, I know, dude. Like, he's fought fucking everybody, bro.
That's why I said, dude, minus 1,000 is
it's crazy.
That's a little reckless.
That is reckless, man.
He submitted Nchekwu, who we just saw fight, and Nchekwu, yeah, who we just saw beat Chris Barnett.
And Nchekwu,
trash.
Oh
yeah.
Booty snake.
I mean, he beat Ankalaev.
Hey, let's go. Uncle Ankalaev is a
He
creep.
subbed Ankalaev. Paul Craig.
Put some respect on Craig, man.
I feel like you have to, brother. When you really deep dive and look at some of Paul Craig's wins,
he's not the same anymore, dude. He did not look the same these last two fights, dude.
Let's throw a 20 sack on Craig and see what the fuck happens.
I don't want to bet against Bo Nickel because I want Bo Nickel to win, but
yeah, this is by far, hands down, Bo Nickel's toughest
without a doubt,
not even close.
But this will shut up a lot of people if he wins.
Yeah, I'm ready for Bo Nickel's career to start speeding up. Like, they've taken his time to groom this man. They haven't
only
done
6-0, Nick.
Yeah,
like
he's so
really
fresh,
time, dude. He's so new.
He's got to fight more than once every 9 months, though. You know,
you want a little bit more activity.
I want to see him
he's young.
Yeah, he should be. So, I mean, he fought in April, obviously at UFC 300. He fought Cody Brundage. We're in November now, so that's 7 months.
Before that, he fought
it was
at Madison
July.
Square Garden.
Yeah, and that was July 8th of the previous year. So that was 9 months.
Yeah.
He fought Val Woodburn, who isn't even in the UFC, wasn't in the UFC. That was a last-minute replacement.
Yep.
But then previous to that, he fought Jamie Pickett, and that was in March. That was 3 months.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what more people want to see, is that like more of a quick turnaround and start to get some of these fights under his belt. But, again, he's 6-0. He's young. He's very, very new to the sport. I feel like because of the hype around him and just how much of like a true blue chip athlete he is.
Yeah.
People want him to give him a fucking top 5.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
To be fair, he's never fought in the prelims.
Damn.
Yes, he has.
Has he?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yes, he has. Yes. Those fights against Jamie Pickett and
I think they started the main card.
Val Woodburn was on the main card.
I think Jamie Pickett started the main card too. First fight of the night, or first fight of the main card.
That was his first fight in the UFC.
Yeah, I think he was immediately on the main card. I'm pretty positive. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'm pretty positive he hasn't fought in the prelims.
That was when John Jones fought Cyril Gane.
Yeah. That was the first fight of the night.
You are correct. That is the first fight of the main card.
Yeah, he has not fought on the prelims in his career.
He has never fought on the prelims.
No.
Oh, my God.
He went straight out of the Dana White Contender Series and went straight into the main card, never fought on the prelims.
Oh, my God. Okay. That's insane, actually. Well, he's not opening the card for this. So, all right, before we move on, predictions, obviously. Honest predictions. I mean, I think there's a reason he's a minus 1,000 favorite. I think he gets it done. I don't think it's in the first round. Unless
he may knock Paul Craig out.
He might. That's what I was just about to say. I think he gets a KO or TKO victory against Paul Craig.
I don't think he subs out Paul Craig. No shot.
Yeah, but I do think he could
win a decision, honestly.
He could fake a takedown, throw an overhand right, and plant Paul Craig.
Ooh,
I
like that. I like that.
Kind of like he did with Val Woodburn, where he just came in and just straight right down the pipe.
Yeah, that's my prediction. It feels right coming out. I'm just going to stick with that. Feign a takedown, overhand right, plants Paul Craig, either TKO, he jumps on and beats the brakes off of him. Possible he does get to his back, get a choke or something like that, but I would more likely lean toward KO, TKO. First round.
First round? I like that.
Yeah.
It's going to be a whole, if he can keep the pace, and, Bo Nickel's pace is unreal.
Oh, well, he's not going to get tired, dude.
No.
No.
That MMA, 5-round MMA fight ain't shit to the amount of wrestling he's done in his lifetime.
That pace is just...
His cardio is going to be untouched.
Yeah. It's definitely better than Paul Craig's. There's no question. Especially Paul Craig moving down a weight class. I don't know what his natural weight is. Like I'm sure he has
he's
more
stronger
of
than Paul Craig too.
I'm sure he has more of a weight cut.
Yeah.
Like Paul Craig has more of a weight cut than Bo Nickel does.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And Bo Nickel's been cutting weight his entire life.
Yeah,
so I don't know.
His discipline cutting weight is unmatched too. So like cutting 10 pounds to a Bo Nickel even cutting 20 pounds to Bo Nickel is probably
normal.
Just another night in the park, you know?
So what do you have, Dirty? How do you see it going?
I could see him TKO and Paul Craig.
Yeah. Nick?
Honestly, I'm not riding the bandwagon, but I am. TKO. Dude. He's gonna drop him, swarm him, and he probably not even gonna hurt him that much, but he's gonna throw so many punches while he's swarming him, they're gonna pull him off because I mean, it's bound to happen, you know.
Yeah. I'd like to see how his striking has improved over the last 9 months too.
Me too.
How he's
got the best camp, you know. This guy's he's getting the best training. That's why they're taking their time with him, because he's training with the best, you know.
He is. Yeah, he is. Your first fight on the main card at UFC 309, Chris Weidman, local guy, New York guy, against Eric Anders. Both coming off wins. You know, both older guys, man.
Chris Weidman, famous for fucking piecing up Anderson Silva, right?
I know. Crazy.
Also now famous for poking the eyes of his last opponent 900 times and still winning.
That was wild, dude.
Literally had to blind his opponent to win.
That's true. Eric Anders recently lost to Marc-Andre Barriault, who we watched at UFC Edmonton
last
get knocked out again for the second time.
God.
He got knocked out by Joe Pyfer in his previous fight as well. You know, and he beat Eric Anders. Eric Anders then beat Jamie Pickett, and now here we are. He's fighting Chris Weidman, who, that was a weird one. The last time, that was March 30th. That was in Atlantic City. That was UFC Atlantic City. That's the last time we saw Blanchfield as well. And he poked Silva in the eye like four times.
Yeah.
I mean, that was ridiculous. He lost to Ramon Tavares. He lost to Uriah Hall. He got TKO'd by Uriah Hall seconds into the first round.
Yeah, he lost his belt to Rockhold, right? Luke Rockhold.
Who?
I believe
Chris Weidman, because White was champ.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Luke Rockhold, yeah. And then he just became a punching bag for a little bit.
Yeah, he lost to Yoel Romero. He beat Kevin Gastelum. He lost to Souza. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you know, this fight, there's no implications to this fight. There's, you know, it really does nothing in the middleweight division.
No, not
both these guys are towards the end of their careers. You know, hopefully it's an exciting fight.
God,
that's really all I got to say. I don't know. This is where it starts to get sketchy with the card. I'm gonna be honest.
Oh yeah, he's like,
that should not be the first fight of the main card.
Yeah, that's a prelim fight.
Yeah. And it's wild.
It's not even a featured prelim fight.
Could be a retirement fight as well. It could be
could be
numerous retirement fights. Chris Weidman's 40 years old.
It could be. Well, you know, listen, if Chris Weidman lays him down, I do think that would be a cool moment to witness and a cool moment to be there for. I mean, he's an incredible wrestler. He's done a lot for USA Wrestling. He beat Anderson Silva. He's had a great career in the UFC. I mean, that would be a great moment. When UFC 309 gets a lot of criticism for it being kind of not a great card, this is where it begins.
Absolutely.
You know, when you look top to bottom, this is where it begins. Like, this is your first fight on the main card. You're like, okay, I guess kind of.
But they had to make them funds work for the GOAT. Had to make it work.
You got to pay. Yeah, you got to pay everybody. I don't care about a prediction on this. I don't have any idea.
Shit.
Yeah, I feel like, you know, Chris Weidman probably wins. If he looked like he did his last time, but you know, both these guys are getting older. Chris Weidman can't poke everybody in the eye.
No.
So then we look at some of these prelims. I really, looking at the time on the episode, I really don't know that we need to go fight for fight on these.
No, not even close.
Because I think anybody listening to the episode at this point would probably turn it off. Don't do that. If you haven't already, click subscribe to the YouTube, hit the thumbs up, and like the video. But this is the prelims for UFC 309. I'm just going to rip them off quick. Nikita Krylov, number 6th ranked light heavyweight, versus Azamat Mirzakhanov, 11th ranked light heavyweight. Couple Russians. Probably going to be a stand-up battle if I had to guess between these two. Nikita Krylov. Jonathan Martinez versus Marcus McGee, a bantamweight. Jonathan Martinez, 13th ranked bantamweight.
Yeah.
I think Jonathan Martinez probably gets the win over Marcus McGee. I'm not too high on Marcus McGee, to be honest. I think Jonathan Martinez.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not.
He looked good last fight.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I guess when I'm looking at it, he's coming off 2 KO TKO wins, right? Jonathan Martinez.
He's coming off a loss, right?
Yeah, he lost to Jose Aldo.
Yeah.
At UFC 301.
Yep.
And Aldo looks so good. So maybe you're right. Maybe I stand corrected. He beat Yanez, though, but he did lose to Aldo, unanimous decision, and Aldo looked incredible. So that was UFC 301 in Rio.
Yep.
So maybe you're right. Maybe this is set up for Marcus McGee to keep making the surge that he's been making.
Yeah.
Jim Miller, Damon Jackson. We talked about this one a little bit before we started recording. Jim fucking Miller. I know, well, dude. What if, right? Like that would be insane.
That's nuts.
I mean, Jim Miller. Does he currently have the record for most wins in the UFC?
Absolutely, yeah, has to.
I know he lost to Bobby Green at UFC 300, but dude, Jim Miller's always in a good fight, and he was getting his ass beat by Bobby Green, but was still fighting. I mean, as old as he is, he's tough as hell.
Oh,
so
yeah,
tough. Yeah,
but he did what he did. He did what he said he wanted to do, and he fought at 100, 200, 300. And then...
that's just insane. What an achievement. Damon Jackson, again, this is another guy. He lost to Billy Q. He lost to Mariscal. I don't, I feel like this is a good, this could be a good one for Jim Miller to get a win on his way out. The odds on this fight are pretty even, minus 142 for Miller, plus 120 for Damon Jackson. Pretty evenly matched. Yeah.
We may get 5 retirements in one night, guys.
Dude, it's possible. Honestly, you could get one between Jim Miller, you could get Chris Weidman, and you could get John Jones and Stipe.
And Stipe. And Damon Jackson's old too.
You could get Damon Jackson too. So that's your first fight on the prelims. The early prelims on this are Mickey Gall, Ramiz Brahimaj, Basil Hafez, and Oban Elliott. Like Oban Elliott. And then your first fight of the night is a women's flyweight fight, like I mentioned earlier. Veronica Hardy versus Eduarda Mora.
I'll be trying to get some popcorn.
Yeah.
during that fight. I don't give a shit, dude.
Oh my God. I mean, Veronica Hardy, 3-fight win streak.
Yeah. Who gives a fuck?
I don't know. Hey,
3-fight
win sheet. But yeah, this is bottom of the barrel women's MMA flyweight. This is not great. It's not great.
Dan Hardy's a scrub, dude.
Yeah.
And he's married to her. So she gets away with that as well.
All right. So after that, all things considered, we'll close out the episode like this. All things considered, rate UFC 309 1 out of 10. What do you got?
I'll let Nick go first because I don't want to be too harsh.
The whole card, right?
Yeah, rate the whole card out of 10. All things considered.
Top to bottom.
Top to bottom.
6. And that's being generous. Yeah. The only competitive fight I see is the co-main. Sorry.
I was gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10.
I think that's fair. I was gonna say 5, and possibly argue for a 6 solely based on John Jones, Charles Oliveira, Michael Chandler.
Yeah.
And I mean, and Bo Nickel. Like, I feel like Bo Nickel, Paul Craig is kind of slipping under the radar on this a little bit, and it's maybe not getting as much notoriety as it deserves. But yeah, man, I gotta give it at most this is a 6 out of 10. But it's a must see. Even though it's a 6 out of 10, it's a can't miss must see.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
it's a can't miss, dude.
Yeah, like honestly, it even with just based solely on the fact that it's John Jones, it's going to have a great number of pay-per-view buys. It's going to do numbers at MSG. You know,
it'll be sold out by the time the fight comes around, probably.
I think so.
I think sold out now. You know, that's crazy.
I think so.
And if anything gets more hinted towards John retiring or something like that, it's going to immediately sell out. So
yeah, I think if he wants to make as much money as possible, he calls his retirement now. That way they can make a video for him. You know, do it right. You know, send him off into the sunset. The greatest of all time, the greatest the sport's ever seen. No question, no contest.
I'll cry.
No discussion. You'll cry?
Probably.
I'll fucking cry with you, dude. We'll be up in there in MSG.
I almost cried when the Korean Zombie retired, dude. What does that tell you? I'm going to do when fucking John Jones does.
Yeah, well,
my favorite fighter ever.
That was a crazy moment, you know. The Korean Zombie thing was just a cinematic moment too, like the crowd singing his song.
In his hometown,
yeah, just ridiculous, bro. That was just absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, that is UFC 309. John Jones, Stipe Miocic, November 16th, Madison Square Garden. The boys will be there. If you are going to be in attendance at this event, comment on the video, let us know, or click the link in the description of the audio-only versions. And send us a text message, man. Let us know you're going to be at 309. Let's link up. Let's meet some listeners, talk to some people. We're going to be shooting some content. The intro that I played in the beginning of the video is not totally finished. We're going to shoot some content and do some videos and stuff while we're in Madison Square Garden at UFC 309, and we'll make sure to add some of those moments into our intro to make it even fucking sicker than it already is.
Let's go. Be riding.
But that's all we got. That's it for this week. Let's fucking go John Jones, baby.
Let's go John Jones.
Peace.
Let's go. Don't retire.